the boss I was secretly in love with suddenly gave me a fountain pen. In that instant, a stream of text scrolled across my vision, bright and intrusive like a chat feed on a live stream. Hey, our girl has no idea. That pen is empathetically linked to the male lead. Does she? This is gonna get so good. I heard the smut in this is top tier. Is that true? Totally true. The guy's an absolute stallion. This story is a 5-star read, guaranteed. I froze on the spot, my mind reeling. I reached out and stroked the pen. The next second, the man sitting across from me, my boss, let out a sharp, muffled grunt. Nobody is supposed to be in love with their boss. Except for me, because he was good to me. Impossibly good. I've been working in the executive office ever since I graduated, straight into the lion's den of Cole Corp. My boss, Mr. Liam Cole, was a man carved from ice. He was cool, distant, and spoke only when necessary. But if someone on his team screwed up, he could dress them down with a glacial fury that left them weeping at their desks. But with me, I always felt he was different. It's normal to be clumsy with procedures. When you're fresh out of college, the other executive assistants in the office were drowning in their own work, so no one had time to mentor the new girl. It was my own fault, really. I was just dumb enough to make a colossal mistake. The moment I was summoned to his office, the senior assistants all looked at me with the kind of pity you reserve for the condemned. My heart hammered against my ribs as I walked the green mile to his door. But inside, Liam Cole's expression was perfectly calm. He just asked me if I was adjusting to the company, if I felt comfortable, if my colleagues were treating me well. He never even mentioned the mistake. I walked back out. Every head in the office snapped toward me. I quickly bowed my head, pretending to sniffle back tears. I might have been new to the corporate world, but I understood that much special treatment breeds jealousy. It was better to look like I've been chewed out, just like everyone else. I worked at Cole Court for over a year. Every day, my senior colleagues were hounded and stressed, running around like their hair was on fire. I, on the other hand, had to pretend to be hounded and stressed, deserve the quiet grace Liam Cole showed me. I threw myself into my work, becoming more meticulous, more dedicated than anyone. I couldn't betray the unspoken faith he had in me. I could never quite figure out what it all meant, what I meant to him. But I wanted to do everything in my power to make him see me, to impress him. I knew in that quiet place, in my heart, that his kindness toward me was unique, wasn't overt, nothing anyone could point a finger at. Maybe it was just a hint of affection, a flicker of something more. I told myself not to overthink it. It was enough to see him every day. I was earning a fantastic salary for a job that, for me, was surprisingly calm. What more could I possibly ask for? The company landed a massive new account. Everyone who had worked on the deal was getting a bonus. For the executive office, those bonuses were handed out personally by the CEO himself. I filed into his office with my colleagues. Liam Cole produced a stack of thick envelopes, his voice as cool and crisp as ever. For your efforts as the newest hire. I was last in line. One by one, my colleagues accepted their envelopes, their faces lit with joy. When my turn came, there was nothing left. Liam's face was unreadable. Ellie, you've only been with the company for a little over a year. Your seniority doesn't quite qualify for this tier. I got you something else. My colleagues craned their necks. Their curiosity piqued. He slid a sleek, dark blue box across the mahogany desk. Open it. What could possibly be better than a fat check? Confused, I lifted the lid. Nestled in the velvet lining was a handsome fountain pen, its body the color of a midnight sky. Tied around it was a tiny, almost comically delicate pink ribbon. And in that instant, a stream of text scrolled across my vision, bright and intrusive like a chat feed on a live stream. OMG, he basically just handed over his junk mail. Hey, our girl has no idea. That pen is empathetically linked to the male lead. Does she? This is gonna get so good. I heard the smut in this is top tier. Is that true? Totally true. The guy's an absolute stallion. This story is a 5-star read, guaranteed. I froze, my fingers hovering over the box. Junk. Empathically linked stallion. Was I hallucinating? Maybe it was all the late nights I'd spent binge watching shows. Liam Cole's voice, a little strange now, pulled me back. You don't like it? Our poor guy is shattering. What if she doesn't like my gift? It's literally my soul in a pen. Ellie, just nod. Say you like it, please. Look at him, trying to act all cool, but he's probably gripping the underside of his desk so hard. His knuckles are white. I love it. I blurted out. Then, on a whim, driven by a bizarre impulse, I reached into the box. My heart started to pound a frantic, wild rhythm. I only meant to touch the pen, just to feel it. Wait, Liam started to say, but my fingers had already closed around the smooth, cool barrel of the pen, stroking it firmly across the desk. A low, guttural sound escaped his lips. He let out a sharp grunt, and the tips of his ears instantly flushed a deep, telltale red. The sound was so intimate, so charged, it sent a shiver straight through me. My colleague stood awkwardly to the side, confused but too intimidated to speak. A slow smile spread across my face. Thank you, Mr. Cole. This pen, I absolutely love it. He's dying. One touch, and our boy is losing his mind. I live for moments like this, when she plays him like a fiddle. Oh, my God. This is way too hot. Ellie, you keep doing. You wreck him. I'd be different if my boss's junk was linked to a pen. I'd stomp on it. Just saying. I caught it, then the subtle tightening of his jaw. Was he gritting his teeth? Fighting for control? If you like it, then take good care of it, he said, his voice a little rough. Don't disappoint me. I nodded, my smile widening. Of course. I'll make sure you're completely satisfied. I had no idea where he'd found a pen with an empathic link, but one thing was suddenly crystal clear. I was living in a trashy romance novel, and, with a world built on bizarre rules like this, who was I to argue? As soon as we left his office, Liam strode past us. His steps clipped in fast, heading straight for the men's restroom. Hey. Couldn't hold it in anymore. Gotta go relieve some pressure. Just one little touch, and he's already at his limit. This guy has zero self-control. I'm worried for our girl's future. Wait, she's reaching for it. What's she gonna do? Oh, my God. If she carries that pen with her everywhere, does that mean he's going to be at full mast 24/7? So Liam Cole was a closet freak. After more than a year of pining, the most he could manage was to secretly gift me his remote control. Fine. I could be generous. I'd help him get his release. From now on, the ball was in my court. Back at my desk, I took the pen from its box. I untied the little pink ribbon and ran my fingers up and down its length. Then I uncapped it and tentatively started to write on a notepad. Just as I suspected, the pen was full of ink. The characters flowed onto the page, rich and dark. He's on the toilet, and he's gonna die. Holy shit, Ellie. You are unnatural at this. Stop writing. Stop writing. He's literally biting his tongue. Jesus, this guy's bold. Isn't he? Afraid of dying from dehydration? An image of him undone and losing control flashed through my mind, and a wave of heat washed over me. Suddenly, a hand snatched the pen from my grasp. It was Chloe, my least favorite colleague. See, it's just a regular pen. Nothing expensive. I can't believe he'd give you this as a bonus. She sneered. This pen was linked to Liam Cole. It couldn't be in her hands. That would mean he was. Phew. Our guy is smart. The pen is only bonded to Ellie. Even he can't activate it by touching it himself. He must have planned for this. Knew that other people would inevitably touch it. He's coming out of the restroom now. Wonder what his face will look like when he sees his junk in someone else's hand. Ellie looks like she's about to cry. My poor baby. Give it back. I snapped, knowing it was safe thanks to the chat feed. Didn't stop the surge of anger. I wanted to snatch it back, but I was afraid she wouldn't let go. What if she damaged it? What would that do to him? Whoa. So protective. Chloe taunted, inspecting the pen from end to end. There's nothing special about it. Lame. She tossed it back on my desk. But seriously, Ellie, are you into Mr. Cole or something? Her voice was deliberately loud. The entire office turned to look. My face caught fire. That's ridiculous. Just then, a cold voice cut through the tension from behind me. What are you all talking about? Oh, you bad girl. Ellie, just a minute ago, you were playing with him until he was seeing stars, and now you're denying it. He's breaking. I can practically see the cracks forming. His hands are shaking. Oh, my God. He's the petty type. Ellie, you better watch out. He's gonna get you back for this until you can't see straight. Hey. And I, for one, can't wait. I turned around. Liam's face was so dark. It looked like a storm cloud had settled over his features. I'm screwed. That was my first thought. Chloe immediately started playing the victim. Mr. Cole, I just wanted to look at her pen. And she got so nasty with me, before I could even open my mouth to defend myself. Liam let out a cold, humorless laugh. That's her property. Did you ask for her permission before you took it? He said, his voice dangerously low. Chloe, you're a senior member of this office. How have your manners gotten so sloppy? He stared her down. Give it back to her. And don't make me say it again. The other assistants were practically vibrating with the drama, with Liam backing me up. What did I have to be afraid of? Chloe, I said, my voice sweet as poison. Could you please wipe it clean and put it back in the box for me? It was a gift from Mr. Cole. You see, I treasure it. Chloe's face contorted with rage. Mr. Cole, look at her. You're spoiling her. She's getting arrogant, walking all over everyone. Liam's expression darkened even further. Did you not hear what I just said? Chloe deflated instantly. She fumbled for a tissue, wiped down the pen with shaking hands, and placed it back in its box. I looked up at Liam. Don't worry, Mr. Cole. I promise I'll take very good care of your pen. I'll keep it with me at all times, where no one else can touch it. He gave me a long, deep look. Without another word, he turned and went back into his office. For some reason, he seemed even angrier than before. Ellie is being so formal. Our poor guy is heartbroken. Well, she doesn't know how he feels about her yet. She's just trying to appease her boss. When is this plot going to speed up? I'm so over the slow burn. That evening, I sat on my bed staring at the pen in its open box. I was afraid to touch it, worried about what might be happening on his end. He's in the shower.
Ah, damn.
He has a nice body.
Ups, pec stilts.
It's just that one area is all pixelated. I can't see. You don't need to see it to imagine it. This is a spicy romance novel. You think the author would give him anything less than a canon?
Whoa.
He's washing himself so thoroughly. I feel like I shouldn't be watching this. He was in the shower. Without a second thought, I snatched the pen and wrapped my hand around it. The chat feed exploded in a collective shriek. User_spicy bookworm. Holy mother of, she grabbed it. Romance reader 99. OMG, OMG, OMG. He just slammed his hand against the shower tiles. He's slipping. Our Ice King is going down. Trope_lover on Thorelli. I swear to God, if you don't do something wicked right now, I am dropping this book. I sat on the edge of my mattress, staring at the sleek, midnight blue barrel in my hand. The metal was cool at first, but the moment my skin made contact, it began to warm, mimicking the exact temperature of human flesh. My breath caught in my throat. He's in the shower, I thought. My thumb lightly stroked the length of the pen. Smut gremlin, his knees just buckled LMAO. Book boyfriend collector, the soap. She needs to use lotion or something. Do it for the plot, Ellie. A wicked, entirely new kind of confidence bloomed in my chest. For over a year, I had played the timid, grateful assistant. I had watched Liam Cole glide through the office like a god untouchable by mere mortals. But here, in the privacy of my bedroom, I held the literal remote control to his composure. I reached for the bottle of expensive vanilla body lotion on my nightstand. Pumping a generous dollop into my palm, I coated my fingers. Then, slowly, deliberately, I wrapped my slick hand around the barrel of the pen and began to slide my grip up and down. User_spicy bookworm. I am screaming. She's milking the pen. Trope_lover_. The author really said, we are skipping the slow burn and going straight to the fireworks. Look at him. He's leaning against the glass, biting his own forearm to keep from moaning out loud. Romance reader 99, his chest is heaving. He looks so good wet. I increased my pace, feeling a phantom pulse vibrating through the casing of the pen. It was bizarre, intoxicating, and intensely intimate. My mind flashed to the image of my stoic, terrifying boss, water sluicing down his broad shoulders, completely at my mercy. I applied a little more pressure near the cap. Smut gremlin. Oh, she found the sweet spot. He's closing his eyes. He's getting close, Ellie. Keep going. Close? I thought. Oh no. We don't get to skip to the end that easily, Mr. Cole. Right as the chat feed began to spam a flurry of fire and eggplant emojis, I stopped. I wiped the pen completely clean with a tissue, placed it back into its velvet box, and snapped the lid shut with a sharp click. Trope_lover no. Edged by a fountain pen. Book boyfriend collector. You evil, brilliant queen. He literally just groaned in agony and punched the shower wall. User_spicy bookworm. R.I.P. Liam's sanity. See you all in the next chapter. The chat faded from my vision. I fell back onto my pillows, my heart hammering against my ribs, a wide, flushed smile plastered across my face. Tomorrow at the office was going to be very, very interesting. The next morning, the atmosphere in the executive suite of Coalcorp was thick enough to cut with a knife. I arrived early, wearing a new pencil skirt that hugged my curves a little tighter than my usual attire, paired with a silk blouse. The midnight blue pen was securely clipped to my lanyard, resting innocently right between my breasts. When Liam finally walked in, the entire floor seemed to hold its breath. Usually, he looked like he had stepped out of a GQ magazine, impeccable, untouchable, practically vibrating with cold authority. Today, he looked like a man who had fought a war in his sleep and lost. His tie wasn't perfectly straight. There were faint, violet shadows under his eyes, and his jaw was locked so tight a muscle ticked erratically near his ear. He didn't even glance at Chloe or the other senior assistants as they offered their usual sycophantic, "Good morning, Mr. Cole." His dark eyes snapped straight to me, specifically to my chest, to the pen. Smut gremlin, he sees it. He sees where it is. Good lord, the sexual tension could power a small city. Romance reader 99. He didn't sleep a wink last night. He just lay in bed staring at the ceiling, thinking about her hands. Ellie, His voice was a gravelly rasp that sent a shiver straight down my spine. My office. 10 minutes. Bring your notepad for the quarterly briefing. Of course, Mr. Cole, I said, my voice deliberately soft, sweet, and perfectly innocent. Chloe scoffed from her desk as his door clicked shut. Look at you, parading around that cheap plastic like it's a diamond necklace. Don't think for a second a pity gift means you're special, Ellie. I just smiled at her. I don't know, Chloe. I think it writes like a dream. 10 minutes later, I pushed open the heavy mahogany door to his office. Liam was standing by the floor-to-ceiling window, looking out over the city skyline. His hands were shoved deep into his trouser pockets. Take a seat, he ordered without turning around. I sat in the plush, leather chair opposite his desk. I unclipped the pen from my lanyard, the metal warm against my skin. I popped the cap off and pressed the nib to my blank notepad. Whenever you're ready, Mr. Cole. He turned, clearing his throat. The Q3 projections they require immediate restructure. I began to write. I pressed down hard, enjoying the smooth flow of the ink. Cursive, I decided. Lots of loops and swoops. Liam stopped talking. User _ spicy bookworm. The cursive is killing him. Book boyfriend collector. Every time she loops in he loses a year of his life. Mr. Cole, I looked up, fluttering my eyelashes. Restructure, you said? Yes, he choked out. He marched over to his desk and gripped the edges, knuckles turning white. He stared at my hand. The marketing budget needs to be slashed by 10%. And I started drawing little stars in the margins of the paper. Just quick, sharp little strokes. Liam let out a breath that sounded suspiciously like a whimper, quickly disguised as a cough. He sank heavily into his executive chair, crossing his legs abruptly. Are you feeling all right, Liam? I asked, dropping the formal title for the very first time. His head snapped up. His eyes, usually an icy, impenetrable brown, were completely blown out, the pupils swallowing his irises. What did you just call me? I asked if you were all right. I murmured, leaning forward. I slowly rolled the barrel of the pen between my thumb and forefinger. Trope _ lover runner. Oh, my God. Do it, Ellie. Break him. Stop, he breathed out, the word barely audible. Stop what? I asked innocently, continuing to roll the pen. Taking notes? But I want to do a good job for you. I want you to be completely satisfied. Liam let out a low, feral growl. In a flash of movement so fast it startled me, he surged out of his chair, rounded the desk, and grabbed my wrist. He didn't pull the pen away. He knew better than to let anyone else touch it, but he held my hand completely still. His chest was heaving, his face inches from mine. Up close, he smelled of cedar, bergamot, and pure, unfiltered male desperation. You know, he whispered, his voice trembling with a mix of terror and arousal. Don't you? The chat feed was going absolute supernova, words scrolling so fast I couldn't even read them. Know what? I whispered back, my heart pounding a frantic rhythm against my ribs. That you gave me a magic pen linked to your anatomy? A flush so deep it rivaled a sunburn crawled up Liam's neck and stained his cheeks. The fearsome CEO, the terror of Colcorp, looked entirely helpless. I didn't plan for this, he confessed, his voice breaking. He dropped to his knees right there on the plush carpet, still holding my wrist. I swear to God, Ellie, I wasn't trying to be a creep. I bought it from a relic dealer in Prague, 3 years ago. It's an old sympathetic magic binding. I wanted you so badly, and I was so terrified of crossing a line as your boss. I thought if I gave it to you, I could just feel you holding something that belonged to me. I thought you'd just keep it in your purse. But I used it, I said softly. You tortured me, he corrected, though there was no anger in his eyes, only a ravenous, desperate hunger. Last night, in the shower, I nearly tore the fixture out of the wall. And today, the way you were writing, Ellie, I am losing my mind. I looked down at the powerful man kneeling between my legs. The sheer devotion radiating from him was intoxicating. He had built this icy fortress around himself, but he had handed me the key, the literal, physical key, and begged me to dismantle him. Smut gremlin, he's on his knees. 5 stars. 10 stars. I am naming my firstborn after this chapter. Book boyfriend collector. Do it. Desk scene now. Well, I whispered, reaching out with my free hand to trace the sharp line of his jaw. If the pen is too much for you to handle, maybe I should just use the real thing. Liam let out a shattered sound. He surged upward, hauling me out of the chair by my waist, and crushed his mouth against mine. It was a kiss of absolute starvation. All the ice, all the distance he had maintained for the past year melted in a millisecond. His lips were hot, bruising, and urgent, parting my lips and invading my mouth with a desperate groan. I tasted coffee and mint and pure, unadulterated need. I dropped the pen on the desk. System error, NSFW content detected. Visual feed restricted to safe mode. Audio feed remains active. I laughed into his mouth as the chat text turned into a blur of frustrated complaints. Censorship.
No.
Bring back the feed. They screamed, but I didn't care. I didn't need the text anymore. I had the real thing right in front of me. With a sweep of his arm, Liam cleared a massive pile of Q3 financial reports off his mahogany desk. They cascaded to the floor like snow. He lifted me effortlessly, sitting me on the edge of the desk, and stepped right between my thighs. Are you sure? He rasped against my neck, his hands shaking as they smoothed at my thighs, pushing my pencil skirt up. Ellie, if we do this, I am never letting you go. Not in this office. Not anywhere. If you wanted to let me go, I breathed, wrapping my legs around his waist, you wouldn't have handed me your soul in a blue velvet box. He groaned, burying his face in my neck. His hands were incredibly deft, unfastening the buttons of my silk blouse. When his skin met mine, it was electric. I realized then that the magic of the pen hadn't just been a one-way street. The empathic link had bound us together. Every place he touched me sent a jolt of liquid heat straight to my core. When he finally unbuckled his belt and lowered his trousers, the sheer size of him made my breath hitch. The chat had called him a stallion. They had profoundly undersold it. Liam. I've dreamed about this, he muttered, his eyes dark with lust as he positioned himself at my entrance. Every day you walked into my office. Every time you smiled at me.
Mine.
You're mine. He pushed forward, filling me completely. A high, breathless moan escaped my lips, echoing loudly in the spacious office. He was hot, thick, and perfectly made for me. He stopped for a second, letting me adjust to the stretch, his forehead resting against mine as we both panted for air. Okay, he whispered, his thumb brushing a stray curl from my sweaty forehead. More, I demanded, digging my nails into his broad shoulders. Don't hold back anymore, Liam. I'm tired of the Ice King. That was the only permission he needed. He began to move, pulling out almost completely before driving back in with a heavy, wet slap of skin against skin that echoed like a gunshot. The rhythm was punishing, frantic, as if he were trying to make up for an entire year of celibacy in a single afternoon. With every thrust, the heavy mahogany desk creaked in protest. I clung to him, my head thrown back, gasping as waves of intense, building pressure coiled low in my belly. He knew exactly how to move, hitting that perfect spot inside me over and over again. Liam. I cried out, my vision spotting with white as the climax bore down on me. Give it to me, Ellie, he grunted, his pace accelerating, his hips snapping forward with brutal, beautiful force. Come for me. The orgasm ripped through me like a hurricane. I clenched around him violently, crying out his name. The sensation was so intense I felt like I was floating, completely untethered from reality. Liam gave one final, guttural shout, burying himself to the hilt as his own climax hit him, his body shuddering violently against mine. We stayed like that for a long time, tangled together on the ruined desk, the Q3 reports scattered around us like confetti. His face was buried in my neck, his chest rising and falling in heavy, ragged gasps. Slowly, the chat feed began to fade back into my peripheral vision, bypassing the censorship filter with pure, chaotic energy. User_spicy bookworm. We are so back. Audio was 10 out of 10, but my imagination is doing the heavy lifting. Romance reader 99, I'm crying. They did it. The desk is broken. I love this book. Trope_lover. Best. Office. Romance. Ever. Liam finally pulled back, resting his forehead against mine. A lazy, incredibly boyish smile spread across his face, an expression I had never seen on him before. It made him devastatingly handsome. So, he murmured, kissing the tip of my nose. How was the bonus? I let out a breathless laugh, reaching over to the side of the desk where the midnight blue fountain pen lay discarded. I picked it up, rolling it playfully between my fingers. Liam flinched, his eyes darting to the pen, a fresh wave of pink hitting his ears. The bonus is excellent, I purred, slipping the pen into the pocket of his discarded suit jacket. But I think from now on I prefer dictation.
Epilogue.
3 months later, the dynamic at Colcorp had shifted entirely. Officially, I was promoted to the Executive Operations Manager, a title Liam insisted upon to get me out of the assistant pool and into an office right next to his. Unofficially, everyone knew who really ran the floor. Chloe had miraculously requested a transfer to the regional branch in Idaho after a mysterious clerical error wiped her hard drive for the 3rd time in a week. I had nothing to do with it, though Liam looked suspiciously smug whenever it was brought up. The chat feed had quieted down, only popping up occasionally when Liam and I were being particularly domestic, acting like a peanut gallery to my daily life. I had grown fond of them. They were like the invisible cheerleaders to my happily ever after. It was 6 p.m. on a Friday. The office had emptied out. I packed in my bag, threw my coat over my arm, and walked into Liam's office without knocking. He was at his desk, signing a stack of contracts. He looked up, his eyes instantly softening the way they only ever did for me. "Ready to go, sweetheart?" he asked, capping his standard, non-magical black ballpoint pen. "I am," I said, walking around the desk to sit in his lap. He wrapped his arms around my waist immediately, burying his face in my sweater. "But I was thinking, we don't have dinner reservations until 8. "Oh." His voice dropped an octave, a familiar heat flaring in his eyes. I reached into my purse and pulled out the dark blue velvet box. I popped it open. The midnight blue fountain pen lay nestled inside, pristine and waiting. "I have some paperwork I need to catch up on," I whispered, trailing the tip of my finger down his jaw. "And I thought I might do it in the back seat of your car while your driver takes us the long way around the city." Liam's pupils dilated instantly. He looked at the pen, then up at me, a wicked, ravenous grin spreading across his face. "Ellie Cole," he murmured, already practicing my future name. "You're going to be the death of me." "I know," I smiled, snapping the box shut. "Now be a good boy and carry my bag. User_spicy bookworm. And that's a wrap. 5 stars. Trope_lover_I am violently single. Smut gremlin. Best ending ever. Read this 4 times. See you all in the comments section." The text faded away for the final time as Liam swept me into his arms, carrying me out of the office, ready for whatever chaotic, beautiful chapter came next.